invented by a doctor by the name of Richard Gatlin. Now, this is a little weird because doctors don't normally make guns. Okay? If Gatlin would have finished medical school, he would probably take the oath that said do no harm, right? He didn't do that. He got sick towards the end of medical school and never officially graduated. He still went by doctor his whole life because, well, when you get rich, you can do what you want. Kind of. When he designs this gun, he sees wounded soldiers coming home from the Civil War, the first battles. And he wants to create a gun that takes the place of men in the battle. He thinks that if you take 100 men away from the battle and replace it with a gun that you can work with 2 men, less casualties. You should know that's not how the military works. You give them bigger guns, they just buy bigger guns. That's the way it works. When Gatlin was designing this, he was a pretty good inventor. And he didn't trust metallic cartridges. They were around in 1860s, but they weren't super reliable like they are today. But black powder was fairly reliable. So when Gatlin first made this, he made it a black powder gun. And it shot this, a 58 caliber mini ball. The way he achieved this, because you couldn't load 6 barrels and shoot them, that doesn't help. He cut up a piece of barrel, and he would load the mini ball in, powder, and a primer cap, and that would make his own cartridge. And this worked well, to the rate of about 400 rounds a minute. Okay, our average for the Civil War soldiers was 1 minute and 38 seconds per shot. This did 400. This was a game changer. But the Army didn't buy the gun during the Civil War. A few generals did, but the Army didn't adopt it. They didn't trust Gatlin because of where he was born. He was born in the South. So, typical. Well, we don't trust him. He might be bad. He's sitting there at your door trying to sell you a Gatlin gun. Doesn't ever try to sell to the South. And you still don't trust him. After the Civil War, the Army officially adopts it, but they wanted it in a metallic cartridge. So Gatlin had 2 choices: redesign the whole gun, or remill his carrier to fit a cartridge. So that's what he did. The short, simple route worked well. Okay? Even though this gun wasn't officially used in the Civil War, we do know it was used at least 5 times in the Indian Wars. It was even the gun that covered Teddy Roosevelt's charge up San Juan Hill. They packed in short Gatling guns to cover his assault. Good. Fire away. Fire away. Tank. This exact one. Not just Tommy's engine, this one. So this one actually spent World War II in Russia. It's pretty cool. It's one of the Little Lease guns. We sent the Russians about 800 Sherman tanks. Each of those Shermans had a 1928 A1s. The Russians didn't use them. So eventually, after the Cold War, we bought some of them back. So, great fancy gun. Okay. First used by the U.S. Postal Service in the fishery. Which is kind of weird. They were the first to go postal. This is an open bolt gun firing 45 ACP. Mr. Thompson first created this. Okay? He called it the Annihilator, which is probably not a good PR name. Later got called a lot of trick names, like Chicago Type, Street Sweep, Trench Road. And it was a really fancy gun. Great for what it was. We used a variation of it for our troops in World War II. The stick mags were far more reliable than the drum mags. Actually, here at this job, if you draw the drum mag, it's a fireable offense. They're so fickle. drop one, bend any of the metal, probably never will. You can't just bend it. So, when we make our grip, this gun is going to be heavy. Very heavy. It's heavier than the M1 Garand. Okay? I'll load up the snap caps. When we make our grip, off hand up here on the wood, right hand on the pistol grip. Tight to the shoulder. Lean in. And look through this deep hole, onto the front post, and at the bottom. When we go to rotate the safety, since you're left-handed, I'm going to rotate them for you. We're going to rotate from safe to fire. And then, when we're done with our test fires, we're going to rotate through single. Okay? So, tight to the shoulder, safe, fire, again, bang. Alright? Now you're also going to notice the trigger pull on this is very hard. It's about a 9-pound trigger. Okay? Let's get our grip, left hand here. Alright, we have a snap cap in, tight to the shoulder, leaned in. There we go. Alright. Safety's coming off. Alright, go ahead and feel that trigger pull. Heavy, huh? Alright. Shoulder, finger off trigger. Take it down and around. You are on semi-auto. Finger off trigger, keep the holder again. Now on full auto. So, line it up, bottom bullseye, short burst, on and off, real quick. There we go. Bolts locked. On the back. Back to safe, on the back. Reload. Alright, partner, hold on. Alright, rotate from safe to fire. We're on full auto, short burst. Lean in tight.